student, welcome to GYANJYOTI online classes. Student, today we will read about the air. Okay, so student, in our previous video or previous class we have already discussed that abiotic factor. Okay, so abiotic factor that include air, water, soil, sunlight. Okay, so student, we have already discussed about the water and its importance. Okay, so we have also learned that water pollution and different uses of water. So student, another abiotic factor, okay, we will learn about the another abiotic factor, air. Okay, so student, air that present in our surround environment. Okay, so air that different parts means when the air covered in our earth's surface, okay, that the thick layer is called atmosphere. Okay, so the blanket light that cover our air, our earth, that atmosphere. Okay, so student, atmosphere that divide into many parts. Okay, that the different parts of the our atmosphere. Okay, so student, in this chapter, that chapter 16, air, we will read about the air that present around us. Okay, and different properties of air. Okay, so that air has mass and air create that pressure. Okay, so student, also we will learn about the air is a mixture of different types of gases like nitrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen, argon, neon, krypton, helium, all these gases that present in air. Okay, so student, also we will learn about the our atmosphere. Okay, that layer of our atmosphere. Okay, so student, also we will learn about the that function uses of air. Okay, so student, lastly we will learn about the air pollution. Okay, so student, now we come that air is around us. So student, you can see air? No. So student, we can feel that air present in our surround. Okay, so student, we cannot see air that present around our surrounding. Okay, so student, that without air life can possible in our earth? No. So air important for us, necessary for every living organism. Okay, and so student, also air that important for every living organism, that include plants and animals, all these. Okay, so student, also that the atmosphere extend that several hundred kilometers around the world. Okay, so around the from above the surface, that atmosphere, okay, that covered the our earth. Okay, so student, you have to do some of the example. Okay, so you can also in our house that some of the examine that we can lab in our lab, and you can also your house some of the simple experiment that the examine. Okay, so student, we can feel that presence of air around us. Okay, so student, let's do some example of that air present in our surround. So student, you have to take a bottle or that a tub of water. Okay, so the tub completely filled with water, and you have to put, okay, you have to put a empty bottle with the tub. Okay, so inside the tub. Okay, so student, this the air will always that comes the bubbles from the lower top to upper. Okay, so student, this experiment that prove that in our surround that air present. Okay, so student, also we will now come the should show that soil content air. Okay, so student, you have to take a beaker or a mug water. So you have to put you have take some soil, and you have to put one mug of water, and what will you observe? So when the water that comes with contact with the soil, that the space of that free space of air will be removed. Okay, so this experiment that so consists of means the soil contains air. Okay, so student, another example that water contains of air. Okay, so you have to take some of the beaker or spirit lamp or the stand. Okay, so student, when we heat the water, that what will happen when the water that sometimes that bubble. Okay, so that create a bubble. So that bubbles, that when water heat, that convert into evaporation process. Student, we already know about the evaporation process, evaporation, condensation. Okay, already learn that the water cycle. Okay, so student, when the water heat, that create some of the bubbles. So that also contain that. So this experiment also show that water contain air. Okay, so student, some of the properties of air. Okay, so that properties air has mass. Okay, so student, how air has mass? So mass, some of the experiments you can do in your home. So mainly so experiment that when the flatted and deflated, inflated and deflated football. Okay, so we can take deflated and inflated football, and we can measure the weight of their football. Okay, so student, we can measure the weight of football, and we will observe. Okay, what is the deflated weight, what is the exact deflated mass and the inflated mass of the football. Okay, so student, it experiment that show that air has mass. Okay, so student, also another some experiment that air has pressure. Air create pressure. So how air create pressure? So some of the example you can do your home. Okay, like straw and potato. Some of the experiment you can do easily in your house. Okay, so some of the pressure, how to create pressure. Okay, so student, now we come the another topic. So student, we already know about that air exert pressure. Okay, so student, some of the device we can measure the direction or speed of the air. Okay, so student, how can we measure the direction of air? Okay, so we can use that weathercock. That is the device. Okay, weathercock. In here present one cock. Okay, and that show the direction of air. Okay, look like this. It show the direction of air. Okay, this is north, this is south, east, west. This is the weathercock. So, what is the function of weathercock? So, weathercock that mainly measure the direction of air. Okay. So, next device, that how can we measure the speed of air? Okay. So, that is the device. What is the device that we can measure the speed of air? That is anemometer. So student, this is the device that we can measure the speed of the air. Okay, and this is the device that the weathercock, we can measure the direction of the air. Okay. Okay, student, now we come. Air is a mixture of different type of gases. So already we have discussed about the air has different, that air contain different type of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, fourth, that helium, argon, methane. All these gases are that air contain all these gases. Okay, so mainly the gas nitrogen that present in air 78% and oxygen 21% of air. Okay, and carbon dioxide and other gases that present only 1%, like 0 point something, 0 point something, 0 point something, and also contain water vapor. Okay, so student, some of air that contains some of the gas like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, that helium, argon, methane, okay, and water vapor. Okay, so mainly the air that contains 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, and then other gases like 1%. Okay, so student, nitrogen, now we come nitrogen. So nitrogen that present 78% in our environment or that contain air. Okay, so student, also oxygen that support burning, but nitrogen does not support the burning of air. Okay, so student, now we come the carbon dioxide. What is the carbon dioxide and their function? Okay, so mainly air contain about 0.03% of carbon dioxide. So student, I already told you about our previous chapter that photosynthesis process, that how the photosynthesis process, the water and carbon dioxide in presence of sunlight, that what will happen, that form the energy glucose and release the oxygen. So mainly the function of carbon dioxide mainly the carbon dioxide mainly function the carbon dioxide the main function for photosynthesis process, okay, and also some of the living organism, okay, like bacterial, some of the that respiration by the carbon dioxide, okay. So student, when the burning of fossil fuel like petrol, diesel, okay, that also form the carbon dioxide, okay, and water vapor. So student, you already know about the water vapor. Water vapor, when the temperature that increase, so water will also that convert liquid form to gaseous form, okay. So student, this process, that evaporation process, and next it convert the condensation process, and next it convert the precipitation process, okay. So student, water vapor, so student, that water vapor that convert the process of that condensation, and what will happen when the water droplet and form dew or that rain, okay. So student, also the temperature of the area that very low, some of the areas that water droplets freeze and fall as the that snow or hail, okay. So student, what is the humidity, okay. So one that term, the humidity, so the content of water vapor in air, okay, the content of water vapor in air, that is humidity, okay. So student, in our summer time, during the summer time, that humidity of air that increase, okay, and some of the you can feel that people that sweat a lot in such a weather, and the sweat does not readily evaporate because of the humidity in the air, okay, the humidity of the in the air, and such weather then becomes that muggy, that and uncomfortable. And student, so this type of weather is experienced in that areas close to the sea and during, okay, and during the cloudy days, okay. On the other hand, the higher humidity of air makes it feel and more chilly during the winter, okay. So student, in the when we wet the clothes and containing small amount of water vapor that are dry in air, and they dry too quickly, but take much longer to dry when the humidity is high because of low humidity. When low humidity, that the clothes that take low humidity, okay, and that take low time, okay, and less time, okay. So student, some of the water evaporate more readily, whereas the water evaporate, okay, and very slowly, and the atmosphere has high humidity, okay. So student, now we come the smoke. Smoke. Student, what is smoke? When burning of fossil fuel and some of the factories that form or release that carbon dioxide, okay. So that carbon particles that affect us. How do the carbon particles that affect us? So student, these carbon particles that comes to our nostril that harm our lungs, and we feel different types of disease. Okay, so student, some of the chimney of the industries of different industries of that present chimney that away from us, but how but the heavy part it that settle down around us. So that mainly for the different disease. Okay, and dust. What is dust? Mainly the fine particles of that any solid like that soil, okay, clay, or the dust. Dust mainly the particles of the soil and clay. Okay, and dust is always the present in air. Okay, so student, dust always present in air. Okay, and also that we inhale air through our nostril that fine here. Okay, in our nostril that present air, also that mucus that present inside the nose absorb the dust particles. Okay, that like filter like. Okay, some of the hair that present in our nose that filter the dust particles. Okay, so also if there is a lot of dust into the air, some of the dust that enter into our respiratory system and cause the different difficulty in our breathing system, and also some of the bronchitis and the other that disease asthma that be caused by the mainly some of the dust. Okay, so student, also now we come the important of air. Okay, so student, that the atmosphere covered with a thick layer. Okay, so our atmosphere, this is our earth that covers thick layer. This is the layer of our atmosphere, that different parts. First, troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, okay, student, troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere, and exosphere. Okay, so this is the blanket like that atmosphere. Okay, the atmosphere divided into that 5 parts. First, troposphere, this layer that contain 51 to the surface part of the earth, that is the 15 kilometer. This is 15 to that the part 15, and this is the 52. Okay. 15 to 50, and this parts that the mesosphere that contain 50 to 80. Okay, and 80 above. Okay, and this is all these are the parts of now we come atmosphere, that different parts. Okay, so this is the parts of. Okay, student, now we come the troposphere. Okay, so it is the troposphere, that the closest to the earth. Okay, and some of the activities like that, the cloud formation, that different process, evaporation, condensation, all these process happen mainly the troposphere. Okay, so student, also the temperature, that pressure mainly that when we rise up from the troposphere to stratosphere, that fell down. Okay, so student, that some of the water vapor that change into the ice and get that trapped air. Okay, so most of the cloud are formed in troposphere. Okay, so this is troposphere that cover 15 km from the earth. Okay, next, that the stratosphere that cover 15 km to 50. Okay, so this layer that present the thick layer, that is the upper part of the stratosphere, that is ozone layer. Okay, so student, you already know about the ozone layer deflection, and some of the rays that harmful for us, that ultraviolet ray that cause different type of disease, that ray mainly protect our stratosphere. Okay, so that stratosphere, the upper part present the thick layer, that the ozone layer that protects us the ultraviolet ray. Okay, so UV ray that protect by this layer, that the ozone layer. Okay, so student, now we come the mesosphere. Okay, that mesosphere that extend 50 km to 80 km. Okay, so this mesosphere, that the mainly that all the heavenly bodies like that meters and different layer that born of all these parts. Okay, that the mesosphere part. Next, that the thermosphere. So thermosphere mainly extend 80 km to 320 km. Okay, so this layer, okay, that thermosphere mainly the receive the extraordinarily large amount of energy from the sun. Okay, and it make the thermosphere very hot. The thermosphere. Next, the outer part that present the exosphere. Okay, this is the emerge that into the space. Okay, so student, this is our atmosphere. Okay, that divide into 5 parts. Okay, so now we come the another topic, our that here different uses and their function. Okay. Okay, student, now we come the that oxygen carbon dioxide cycle. Okay. Oxygen carbon dioxide cycle. Okay, so what is oxygen carbon dioxide cycle? That student, you know about the photosynthesis process in presence of the sunlight, that water and carbon dioxide, okay, that form the energy of the living plants. Okay, so student, these oxygen and carbon dioxide, what is the oxygen and carbon dioxide cycle? So when we exhale, that we form the we produce mainly the carbon dioxide, and plants that form the carbon dioxide. Oxygen release, plant that release oxygen and that make their food by the help of carbon dioxide. Okay, so some of the waste material that comes to soil, so that soil convert some of the fossil fuel that comes with contact with carbon. So one type of cycle that again we mining the minerals, so that minerals will form the carbon, like when we burn the fossil fuel, that the fossil fuels that release carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide again comes to environment, and environment that plant again absorb the carbon dioxide. So this is all like a cycle. CO2 in atmosphere and plant take carbon dioxide. Again, some of the animals, they are waste material come to soil, and plant also that form different carbon dioxide by the process of, and next that soil contact with carbon and fossil fuel, and fossil fuel that again release carbon dioxide and oxygen also. When we exhale the gases, when we exhale oxygen, that the plant absorbs the carbon dioxide. When we inhale oxygen, okay, that plant release oxygen, we inhale oxygen. Okay, so student, this is the oxygen carbon dioxide cycle. Now we come the air pollution. Sorry, different uses of air. Okay, student, now we come the function of our uses of air. Okay, so student, first point that air is required by human being and all other living beings for respiration, like the process of photosynthesis, and we inhale the gas oxygen, and the air that contain different type of gases like the oxygen, nitrogen and carbon dioxide. So student, some of the plants that carries the nitrogen fixation and also the process of photosynthesis, and also some of the bacteria that inhale the air or the carbon dioxide. Okay. Next point, that carbon dioxide present in air is required for photosynthesis. Okay. So student, the photosynthesis process that mainly include water and carbon dioxide in presence of sun that form the energy glucose and also the release that oxygen. Okay. Next point, air fills empty space in object like balloons, okay, and tires and tube. So student, we can use the air that different object like balloon, tires and tube. So it helps for our transportation system, and many objects we use our day-to-day life that help the air. Okay. And next, that different musical instruments like guitar and flute are played with the help of air. Okay. So students, some of the instruments that we can use air to help the play with the help of air. Okay. And some next point, air is important agent of pollination and seed dispersal. Okay. So student, some of the wind that cause the dispersion of seed. Okay. So some of the place that large area help the air. Okay. And next that points we use the wind. Okay. So blowing, that blow, air when blow, that is called wind, and wind that has the different types of wind mills, and also different types of that exact the air or pressure, some of the instrument that use the air. Okay, and also student, some of the aeroplane, kite and parachute also that move by the help of air. Okay, now we come the air pollution. What is air pollution? So student, some of the in our atmosphere different gases like argon or methane and also carbon dioxide, all these gases are that harmful for us, that cause different disease like asthma and different lungs disease. Okay, so some of the major problem of air pollution, that different factories release different harmful gas like argon, krypton and that helium, that cause the different types of gas our air or that pollute our atmosphere. Okay, so some of the major problem of our environment, that carbon dioxide and carbon cycle, that cause the different disease. Okay, also student, the some of the harmful gas like argon, air pollution. So student, some of the that pollution free gases. Okay, so you can use alternate that source of energy, that is the LPG and CNG. Okay, that LPG, CNG, that liquefied petroleum gas and compressed natural gas. Okay, these gas are the pollution free gas. So we can use the LPG and CNG gas, that is the alternative source of the pollution free gas. Okay, so student, some of the major problem we know about the different vehicles that release different carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide harmful for animals. Okay, so mainly human being. So student, today all these our chapter that include different topic, we have already discussed that air and their properties and their function, their uses, and that present in our atmosphere, and we have already discussed about the layer of atmosphere, that is the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. Okay, so all these our topic that air, okay, that related our topic. Okay, so student, this is your chapter that 16 complete. Next we will learn about the next chapter. Okay, thank you, have a nice day.